Morning, everybody. I am really close to finishing The Nickel Boys by Colsen Whitehead, so I just wanted to check in with you and say that. I'm not going to talk about it too much now because I'm really close to the end, so I think I'll just do like kind of a final wrap up in about 130 pages in or so. And it started off really strong, and the middle has been lagging a little bit for me, so yeah. I'm gonna try to finish it in the next day or two, and then I'll check in. And I was supposed to be starting Bit at the Bone, but my library app had a little bit of a glitch, and I think I'm gonna have to give the book back because someone else has it on hold, so I may have to purchase that book as well, but we'll see, and I will check in again soon when I've finished The Nickel Boys. Hi everyone, I just finished The Nickel Boys by Colsen Whitehead, and I was very pleasantly surprised by the book. I liked it at the beginning, and then I found in the middle it was starting to drag a bit, and I don't think it was perfect in any way. I think he brought in a few too many characters, and he diluted the overall kind of themes of the story a bit in doing that, but he brought it all back around for me at the end. I can't reveal a lot of the plot of this book because there's some a surprising twist in it, which I did not see coming. However, I did notice an inconsistency, and that inconsistency was the clue to this plot twist. I really am interested now in reading Whitehead's earlier work, so Underground Railroad, and I haven't researched his other books, but because the way he writes is rather concise, and I heard some people complain that it didn't pull them in emotionally, even though this was a really emotional story about a really emotional topic. And I would agree with that to a certain degree, but I still was pulled in once he had gone through this kind of process and of how he wrote it. And I think part of the reason why he made the choices he did, at least I can't really say because I haven't read his other work, so I'm not sure how it compares, but in this novel, he was showing the way that systems of oppression work to keep people in their place. And it's interesting to have this book in the same category as A Woman Is No Man, because I feel like they parallel each other that way, except they're talking about completely different cultures, different genders, but the themes are really similar. And that is that, it's a system, and the system maintains a level of control through violence and fear and shame that will keep people in their place, and that the trauma of that, I think that The Nickel Boys is also very much about trauma, about the power of trauma to hold people into patterns and not let them out, and how that systemic oppression works to undermine any attempt to truly emancipate yourself from it. So, especially having read How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi, and working with this book, I think the themes were very strong. But yeah, the delivery, I could see how the delivery wouldn't work for everyone because there is a lot of subtlety here. He doesn't spell it out for you. You have to work a bit to connect the dots. Well, in some ways, I think they're very obvious, but if you weren't willing to be patient. And it's a short book, so it's not like you're having to wade through 500 pages to get this message. But you still, because of the way he moved the timeline, you're moving back and forth, and you're moving between perspectives a bit. And that part I felt was a little bit choppy for me. So I would have preferred that he didn't bring in as many characters in the school, in the institutional school, as he did, because I think that weakened that part of the book a bit. So it's about a 50 to 75 page section where it's a little bit weaker. But I think this is a book that will stay with me, and I think this book would make a great movie. And I'm overall impressed with it. Definitely makes me want to read more of his work. So, I'm excited. I'm glad that I enjoyed it, because I was worried for a while in the middle of the book that I wasn't going to enjoy it. And that was kind of a sad feeling. I also, I don't think I've really talked about the plot of this. So if you haven't read this book, it follows a detentional school for boys in Florida. And it is not a real school, but it is based on evidence of a real school. And we follow Elwood, who's the main character. And he is brought into the school on a total fluke. Again, the system working against him because of the color of his skin. And he also has this relationship with Martin Luther King Jr., which was really interesting to me, because it showed how, again, even when you're moving through this system and you're benefiting, and he kept his head down, and he was smart, and he was doing things, and he was going to make something of himself, how easy it is for all those plans and all that hope to be completely demolished in 1 second, like in one small mistake that would take, that a white person would make, and nothing would, come of it, or they would get out of it, or they would be able to overcome it really easily. For someone else who is not, in the dominant structure of power, that one mistake will, and it, I would even say that it wasn't even a mistake, will bring them into this system that they cannot get out of. So a lot in there. There's a lot in that book. It's not a very long book, and it has a lot that I'm going to be thinking about. So I think it was a really successful read. I will start Red at the Bone later on this week, and I will check in when I've got a ways with it. Hey everyone. So I ended up getting Jaqueline Woodson's Red at the Bone delivered by an independent bookshop, and they dropped it off yesterday, which was lovely. And okay, so I'm about halfway in this book. And what have we got? We've got an intergenerational story set in Brooklyn. Very interesting to be reading 2 books set in Brooklyn from such different perspectives. And that's kind of this interesting parallel. They're even kind of crossing over. So the time period from A Woman Is No Man and the time period, one of the time periods in this book, are the same. So I find that really interesting. We have the 16-year-old Melody. We have the mother, Iris, the father, Aubrey, and the grandfather and the grandmother. I haven't really, oh yes, I think I've just read the grandmother's perspective at about halfway. And the book is talking about, it's not what I thought. I guess I was assuming that there was some sort of a more social commentary involved in this story, and it's not. It's very much well, it's not so far. So far, I think it's very much about family, about the connections between generations and the expectations that, you know, generations have for their offspring going forward. And it's about teenage pregnancy and how that affects your life. Yeah, relationships between mother-daughter relationships, father-daughter relationships, like a personal story about how you see yourself in your life and how you make your life happen and the things that you sacrifice when you are pursuing those things that you're trying to make happen in your life. So that's all I have on it so far. I can't say that I'm adoring it. And this wasn't shortlisted for the Women's Prize. It was on the long list for the Women's Prize. So yeah, interested to continue, but yeah, I'm definitely not in love. And that has pretty much been my experience so far of all of my BookTube Prize fiction books. I haven't really fallen in love with any of them. So yeah, that's just kind of part of the experience of reading, isn't it? So I'll check in again when I finish this book, and that will be the end of this vlog, and we'll move on to the last two, Queenie and the Beekeeper of Aleppo. Okay. Hi everybody. I finished Red at the Bone by Jaqueline Woodson. And unfortunately, this book did not blow me away as I was hoping it would. This book has, you know, an average 4-star rating on Goodreads, which is really good, and so many people love this book. And I wished I loved this book. I voted for this book to be on this list. I wanted to love this book, and I certainly didn't hate it, but there were a lot of things about it that didn't really work for me. The structure, I didn't really understand the timeline and why Woodson chose to jump around in the timeline the way she did. I didn't find it helped in developing the characters in a way that made you like the characters or made you feel something for the characters. This is a story about 3 generations and a family that has more money and a family that has less money. But I think, you know, the description of the book puts way more emphasis onto the social references that are actually put onto it in the book itself. This book is about relationships, and it's about family, and it's about how we expect things from family, how we are products of our generation, how we make choices when we're very young that affect the rest of our lives. And I mean, I really liked Carrie Marie, who was Aubrey's mother. And she was, to me, the best character in this story. She had the most depth. So with the amount, this is a very short book, with the amount of time that she got as a character in this book, not being a main character, her essence, I found, really shone through. And I could say the same for Aubrey as well, who's the father of Melody, one of the main characters. But I just felt that there was a lack of depth here. I mean, like I said, this book is like 196 pages. So if you're gonna write that concisely and if you're gonna make it that short, you gotta put something gritty in there, something really poignant, and I just didn't get it. I didn't feel a poignancy. I didn't feel much emotion for the characters. I don't really think this is going to be a memorable book for me. I love this cover. I think it's such a beautiful book, and I'm sad that I didn't really like it. I mean, it's certainly not the worst. That's the other thing that I'm finding about reading in the fiction category for this round, is that it was a lot easier when I was reading my first round of nonfiction to rank them. Like, the ranks just kind of came. You know, if I was unsure about one for a bit, something would seal it, something would like proclaim it in its place. And I'm 4 books through of my 6, and all I know is my bottom, which of course could change, because I don't feel right now like I have a book that's clearly the winner. I have 2 that I've liked more than the other 2. But like, to say that I think one of them is number 1 and deserves to win, no. So, I mean, Sarah, who was one of the BookTube judges, but she doesn't have a channel. She was on the fiction live stream on the BookTube Prize channel for round 1. She said she thought this book could go all the way and win. A lot of people love this book. I don't get it. I mean, am I missing something here? It may just be there's something about it that just didn't connect with me. A lot of people thought she was just this brilliant writer, and I can't say that there was any phrases or beautiful lines that I particularly thought stood out to me. I need a lot more than this. It's just, it didn't have enough to grip me. And it was on the long list for the Women's Prize. And I guess that's all I have to say about it. You know, I just finished it tonight. I'm going to think on it a bit more. Potentially when you when I film my video for my rankings, I will have a different opinion. Perhaps something will stick out and resonate with me, and I'll change my mind. But for right now, it didn't blow me away, and I really was wanting it to. I really was hoping that one of these fiction books would clearly become my number 1. So no luck so far. So that's it for this vlog. I will start a new vlog with Queenie and the Beekeeper of Aleppo coming up. So thank you so much for watching, and I will be back again soon.